Hello, everyone. I am CA Vaishnavi Kamath, a mentor with Vision CA. I welcome you all to yet another podcast of the series. If you haven't already guessed, in this series, we cover chartered accountants who have dared to be different and who tread on their own path. In this session, we actually have CA Vineeta Agarwal with us. Before starting, I'll give you a very brief introduction of Vision CA. Vision CA is India's first and largest free mentoring program for CA students run by over 250 plus chartered accountants. So if you are a CA student and you need mentorship, you know whom to reach out to. My today's guest, CA Vineeta Agarwal, is an All India 40th rank holder in CA final examinations held in November 2004. She was also the first amongst female students from the Eastern region in the 2004 examinations. Post her completion of CA finals, in 2005, her son was born, and hence she had to take a break for 2 years. Post the break, she worked in leading IT multinational enterprises for 4 years. Well, in 2011, after a short stint at these companies, she established her own firm in Kolkata and Mumbai. She says financial independence gave her wings, and a decade later, she has launched VinzBerry, her own brand for female intimate care, which aims at creating a community for women who can come together to support each other. A hearty welcome to you, Vineeta. We are honored and pleasured and thrilled to have you on board today.
Hi Vaishnavi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here as part of Team Vision, and I'm so happy to be doing this with you. And I must say, I really adore you a lot. What a girl you are, you're doing so much at such an early age. Frankly, in our times, probably, we didn't do so much. Yeah, so even though the whole rank thing and everything looks very picture perfect, but yes, I'll tell you, a little bit of brief behind it. So I got married at a very early age, and I was in college second year. So not only is my CA post my marriage, in fact my graduation and my inter is also post marriage. And I belonged to a very traditional Marwari family, and I got married into an even more traditional Marwari family. And no one in my family had, been to a college, no female in my family. Forget about any professional course. Nobody knew about a professional degree. So yeah, that's where I started and where I am today.
So from a story that's probably, unfortunately a reality, for a lot of women in India today, to a story that, that you have built for yourself, something that does not resonate with everyone, which is, the creation of your firm and then, this new e-commerce venture that you're forayed into. So Vineeta, first question, what was your motivation behind starting up VinzBerry?
So Vaishnavi, I had my own consulting firm for more than a decade now. I'm a very ambitious person, have always wanted to do things and build something purposive, meaningful, something which is an identity. So you are yourself from a consulting background. You work with the Big Four. So for you to build a consulting firm which is known nationally, known globally, how many decades will that take? So the whole purpose of starting VinzBerry was this motive of doing something very meaningful, purposive for women. I have been a working woman for almost 17-18 years now. I have dealt with issues ranging from mental illness, financial independence, hygiene issues. So there are so many issues which I have felt, even though in today's time I come across as a very strong, well-connected, independent, financially independent, successful uh, business owner, but things have not been smooth in this journey of almost 2 decades. So I always wanted to do something, in whatever little way that I can to build a platform, to build a community for women wherein, we can address all their issues. Uh, we can help them be financially independent. We can help them be mentally strong. We can, help them uh, be, more resilient because it's very important. So that's the objective, and probably in a small way trying to give back to, whatever I've earned from people's love and learn from the challenges of my own life. Yeah.
Wow, wow. I think this is so true. I mean, I read it somewhere that every entrepreneur has got their very own personal story, which actually motivated them, into their venture. And I think it could not have been more truer. I think it's very so true here. And I think what also sets entrepreneurs apart, in my opinion, is the fact that they have very different perspective when it comes to facing challenges. I think they look at it as opportunities to grow, and that is also something which is very evident from your very inspiring and motivating story, Vineeta. And also thank you for coming out and open about
So the reason for the name, sometimes people ask me, "Ki, why have you named your venture VinzBerry?" Because my name is Vineeta.
yeah.
So VinzBerry, Vinz stands for winner. And the
Okay.
reason it has been in it is because, it has all my heart and soul and my sweat and blood and everything, including my sleep. You were asking me while we were chatting just before we doing this. So, I mean, I don't remember when did I had a peaceful night's sleep. So yeah, the name VinzBerry is because it has the whole of Vineeta into it now. So yeah.
For sure, and more kudos to you for that. Um, so, Vineeta, one question, I mean, there are obviously a lot of questions that I have in my mind. The one thing that I would like to start with is, um, what was it like to take a break very early on in your career, because you cleared your CA finals, and I think you were probably pregnant at that time. And then, your son was born in 2005, and obviously you had to spend some time with him until he was of an age, where he could probably spend some time without his mom as well. So, and after that, getting back to the routine and all of that, like what was it like, to take a break so early on?
Yeah, so when we got our results and I got this All India 40th rank, and you belong to the same profession, so you know that all the top 50 rank holders of CA finals, they receive a lot of offers from the top corporates across the country. So same was the case with me, but obviously I couldn't take up any of this because I was already pregnant with my son that time. So my friends, they told me कि तुमने वो rank वाला slot miss कर दिया. Someone else could have made a great career out of it by utilizing that opportunity, and you have completely spoiled it. You should have scored at least 10, 20 marks less. Someone more worthy would have made good use of it. But yeah, so no regrets. I had to take a break early in my life, but as on date, when I look back, I have no regrets. I feel extremely happy. My son is in class 12. He's preparing for his college, and at my age, I'm completely free. So the reason I could think of starting another venture, which is more demanding in terms of time and efforts, is because now I feel that, as a mother, which is my primary role in my life, from the time my son is born, I always tell my primary identity is that of a mother. And anything and everything that I have done in my life has been, my son has been my topmost priority. I've always managed things. My first job when I wanted to start working. So I had opportunities working with consulting firms versus IT firms. Since I used to stay in my favorite city, Bangalore, where you live right now. So I had the option of opting for IT companies because they give you a better work-life balance than a consulting firm. So that's why I opted for IT companies to begin with. That gave me the much needed time and the leeway to work from home on quite a few days. So I could manage my family life and my work life pretty well. So very happy with the way things shaped up. And now when I look back, I think it was worth taking that break early on. And I'm happy with the fact, with the things that I'm doing right now, where I am and where I'm headed. So things couldn't have been better than this. So happy, no
Wow.
regrets.
Wow, that's great. I think there's also a hidden message there, that one should not really worry about the short term. I think when you have your long-term visions, like aligned and perfectly, like when you have a futuristic perspective, I don't think you should really hesitate from taking those short breaks, or from some downs or some ups, during that journey, because I think all of that is a part of what we call life after all.
Yeah,
Um,
Vaishnavi, I'm a very, very, very modern woman, very liberal in my thoughts. I firmly believe that, women should be financially independent. They should they should earn, whatever, even if you're earning, 5,000, 10,000, whatever one should do. But I really feel that it's very important that you balance things on your personal front also, because that's what gives you the much needed peace and support which is needed to do things in life. So in my case, and people who are in my close ecosystem, they say, that Vineeta, you've perfectly managed that and balanced it well. So that is a message that I would like to give to everyone around, that being career oriented is good. You should have a life of your own. You should be financially independent. You should have an identity. But yes, one must try and balance things in a way that for achieving probably a little more height or a little more success in your career, one should not spoil their personal lives. So that is a message to the youth. And in today's time, we see couples and families are more supporting as compared to the times that when I had started my life and career or started my family. So things were pretty challenging back then. But yeah, so this is something that I would like to tell everyone. सब कुछ करो, but family happiness is also important. Your personal life अच्छी नहीं रहेगी तो आप professional life में नहीं successful हो सकते हो. So
for
yeah.
sure, for sure. Yeah. Vineeta, in this journey of entrepreneurship that you have ventured on, what has been your experience like as a woman? And do you feel it's actually different and difficult for a woman to be an entrepreneur? I mean, let's keep aside the fact that we balance both the house and the profession, right? I mean, even today, while that's not something I'm proud speaking about, but to be honest, I think a lot of responsibilities domestically dwell on the lady of the house. So keeping that aside, like that is definitely, a given. But is it different? I mean, is it different and difficult for women to be entrepreneurs? Like, does the market look at you very differently? So does that also add on to the challenges that you're facing?
Yeah, even though the world has become a lot more vocal about women coming to work and people trying to support women, so definitely we live in a times which are much better than what it used to be a decade back. The whole world now wants to be seen as a support for women. You must have heard our honorable Prime Minister's speech also on Independence Day, wherein he did stress on the fact that nari shakti ko बढ़ावा देना बहुत जरूरी है. So definitely we live in a much, much, much better world than what it used to be, but still there's a lot that needs to be done. Definitely, as a woman, you do face a lot more challenges than any man would do. So the truth, the hard fact still remains that yes, it is a lot more difficult and challenging for a woman. Things are better, but still a lot needs to be done in the ecosystem to make it more comfortable and less challenging for women to start up.
Sure, sure. So what's your support system like then? Because I can understand that this is a very uh, difficult journey. And also, I mean, I'm not denying the fact that it's exciting for sure, but there are multiple things that you're currently handling, right? Like you also have firms, your own consulting firm, which has branch in Kolkata as well as Mumbai. And then you've also started a startup, and you were just mentioning that you are running this solely, right? As of now. So, what does your support system
Chief
consist?
of everything officer, not executive. There's nothing executive about it. So it's like chief everything officer.
Sure.
Yeah,
The jack of all trades. As you call it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, you have
So,
to.
what does your support system consist of? I mean, that's something I'm curious to know. And also, just one question which I had is, not everyone may be lucky enough to have, that support system that they yearn for in life. So how does one cope up in that kind of a circumstance? Like probably maybe 10 or 20 years ago during your student days was probably a place where, you were, I think, your primary driver. So if you could probably draw some inspiration from that and uh, give us an answer, that would be really great.
So I think Vaishnavi, बहुत कम लोग होते हैं. There are very few people on planet Earth who are born lucky, and unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not one of those. Even though I may come across as a very lucky person, that oh my God, you're living your dreams, you're doing things like that. But when people call me lucky, तो ऐसे कि मैं lucky कभी थी नहीं, अभी भी हूँ नहीं. मुझे अपना luck खुद बनाना पड़ता है, and what all I have to do, all the effort and the stress that goes behind for me to look lucky to the world is unimaginable. So, yeah, and if you would have been, probably a palmologist, and if you would have seen मेरी हाथों की रेखाएं, so you would have seen कि सिर्फ struggle ही लिखा है. मतलब इतना एफर्ट्स करो तो थोड़ा सा सक्सेस मिलता है. बट ठीक है, आई एम हैप्पी विद दैट फैक्ट कि मुझे उतना ही सीखने को मिलता है. आई गेट टू लर्न एज मच एज आई फेस इन ईच डे ऑफ माई लाइफ. सो लक एंड सपोर्ट सिस्टम होता नहीं है, बनाना पड़ता है, विच आई थिंक ओवर सो मेनी ईयर्स of my efforts, I have been able to, build that support system. So my consulting firm now is handled primarily by my partner. I have a partner in my consulting firm, so he looks after the consulting work. I do support him, whenever I can, in terms of handling some of the marquee accounts that where I have a relationship with. So I do provide him that support. But yes, I am blessed to have a very competitive and supporting partner on the consulting in my consulting firm. So he is doing that, and I'm driving my new startup. So he's a partner here, but obviously, I'm driving the whole thing by myself. Yeah.
Wow. So thanks for that
And I'm
short.
learning each day, because it's a new thing, it's a new world. E-com is a new world, consumers is a new world. So I'm back to being a student. I'm in a learning stage each day.
Sure. Just one question out of curiosity. So did you face any challenges because you were a CA and you were in the entrepreneurship venture? Because more often than not, unfortunately, again, um, we do not hear the word CA and entrepreneur together. CAs are more looked as enablers of business and not businessmen themselves. So while that is slowly changing, thanks to people like you, but like, were there any additional challenges that you faced because of that? Like, did people look at you differently because you are a CA? I mean,
yeah, see, that's how the world looks at you. But I would say, and I would like to share this to all the CAs, probably who are aspiring to starting up, or doing something different from their, whether being in the industry or being in profession. That for me, being a CA and all these years of being into consulting has really helped me a lot. Because in my consulting, I mean, that's what I tell people in my team also, that you should not restrict yourself only to the to the side of the business that you are, looking after. It's the taxation or compliance. One should always try and understand the business as a whole. And if you do that, that's when you will realize that, okay, what excites you. So we have worked with companies in real estate, manufacturing, heavy industries, consumers, hospitality, F&B, fashion, everything. So that's where I could make out. काफी लोगों से जब अपने पूछते हैं ना, okay, what do you want to do? So what is your passion? You were just asking me, Vineeta, what makes you so energetic? So only when you pursue your passion, you feel that energy 24/7. So in my case, it has really helped me, all these years of being in my consulting profession. My prior IT experience and consulting has overall actually helped me, because I could understand, okay, this is where my passion lies. This is the sector which actually excites me. But you will be able to, realize that, analyze that only when you have a very dynamic and a 360-degree view of the clients that you're handling. If you just restrict yourself probably to the audit or to the compliance or to the GST or TDS, it will not. You really need to understand their business as a whole. So I'll tell the success behind us being a very successful mid-sized firm from East is I have always focused on business discussions. So whenever I've gone to pitch work to a client, I have spoken about our service offerings at the end. What I have always done was initiated conversations around their business, what's happening in their industry, how is present economy impacting their industry, how are the government regulations or whatever is happening across the globe impact their industry as a whole. So these are the conversations wherein people find a connect with you and they feel that yes, you understand their business somewhat, if not as much as them. So that's what gives them the comfort. आप अगर किसी के पास GST pitch करने गए हो, so obviously it's a given that you would know GST, you would know transfer pricing, right? But it's what's important is that you have to show that yes, you understand the business also. So that has been our USP, and whether you're going to pitch for an opportunity or not, it's very, very, very important. This is something which I see missing in many of the chartered accountants around me today also. And I tell everyone that please take interest in the business. आप client से मिलने जा रहे हो, आप उसका business समझो पहले, how things are happening, what is the latest news around that industry, वो समझ के जाओ. That's what will give the client more comfort and trust in your abilities rather than just saying कि abhi ye GST mein hua, abhi things like that. So yes,
I think that's a very, very useful tip, something that I'm definitely going to try and implement. Thanks.
Yeah. You would love it, when you go and have these meaningful conversations with the people, they would love it, because the moment you're going, so they expect कि you will say आप हमसे ये करा लीजिए, आप हमसे वो करा लीजिए. So वो करने के लिए तो बहुत लोग हैं, but you have to do something to set yourself apart from others. So this is something that has really helped us, and yeah,
Great.
we can boast of good marquee names being a mid-sized firm also, and that too from the East.
Yes, I can understand. Amazing. Thanks for that. Just one couple of questions before we end this short podcast. Are there any off days in the life of an entrepreneur?
No, absolutely not. Not. Forget about days. They are not off seconds also. So till a year back, when I was enjoying my consulting life, yes, I did have my share of off days and fun days, and but now it's difficult to even go for a 2-3 day holiday also. So I think probably that's when you start up, and first 2-3 years you really need to invest yourself, and for 24/7. Even if I'm meeting somebody at 2 a.m., I'll keep asking them, follow the page, check out the website, check our offerings. So, you are at work 24/7. No off seconds, forget days. Wrong question.
I can imagine. I hope, you're definitely someone who has a lot of vitamin D for determination. I hope, your firm prospers and there's a lot of vitamin M also, and the going gets better for women.
Seriously, that's what you need. You must check out a reel that we've posted just on Friday. I'm sure you would have seen how life is, at the beginning when I was counting all
Yes.
2,000 rupee notes, and now it is when I'm making payments, with coins. So
Sure.
that's what is.
Sure. I think that's a really good note to end this conversation with, Vineeta. Before we leave, any messages for the youngsters out there? This channel would mostly be followed by CAs and CA students as well. So if you can share a brief message for both the fraternities, it would be really great.
I can share, I'm not someone, who's into counseling or mentoring. So I wouldn't give, like a Gyan wala lesson to the students or people from the fraternity. But yes, one thing that has really helped me is, being very, very, very passionate about anything and everything that I've done in my life. uh, Enjoy life, but be passionate about things that you want to do. You will yourself get the energy to do it, and make your life, meaningful. जब आप जाओ तो बहुत लोग नहीं याद करते हैं, थोड़े लोग याद करेंगे, very genuine people, maybe 10. So make your life worthwhile, meaningful, purposive, both on your personal front as well as professional front. And yeah, I mean, it's time that, CAs have started proving their mettle. I mean, we've been enablers for business for so many decades, but yes, now that we've started making our mark in different domains, I would be really, really happy to see more and more chartered accountants coming to the ecosystem and contributing to the great story of India. The next decade belongs to our country. I mean, that's where the maximum growth is. You see all the ratings, you see all the experts talking about our country. Everybody's so confident about India. So that's where you need to, everybody's placed absolutely at the right time. This is the time to be in India. Make the most of it. Enjoy your life. Have fun. But yes, follow your passion
Wow.
and do something meaningful. Yes.
That's a wonderful message to leave our audience with. And with this, I would like to thank you, Vineeta, for taking your time out. I mean, I know how busy a schedule you run. So thanks a lot. This means a lot to us. And thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. See you all.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Vaishnavi. Love you.